Imagine a world without philosophy, a world where the gods explain everything, where myths rule the skies, and where no one dares to ask, but why? And then, out of that silence, one man looks at the stars, the sea, the earth beneath his feet, and asks the most dangerous question of all. Could there be another explanation? That man was Thales of Miletus. He wasn't a king or a warrior or a prophet. He was just curious enough to change the course of human history, because Thales did something no one before him had done. He tried to explain the world not through myth or magic, but through reason. And in that moment, philosophy was born. 1. The world before Thales. To understand Thales, we must first understand his world. In the 6th century BCE, the Greeks lived surrounded by myths. Thunder was the anger of Zeus. The sea raged because Poseidon struck it with his trident. The crops grew because Demeter blessed the earth. The world was alive with gods, but dead to reason. And then came Thales, a man from the bustling trading city of Miletus in Ionia, modern-day Turkey. Surrounded by travelers, merchants, and sailors, Thales heard stories from Egypt, Babylon, and beyond. He learned from priests, astronomers, and mathematicians. But Thales didn't just accept their knowledge. He asked questions. He dared to see the world differently. 2. The first philosopher's big idea. So what was Thales's great idea? He believed that beneath the chaos of the world, there was one unifying substance, one principle that explained everything. And he declared, everything is water. Now, to us, that might sound a little silly. Everything is water? Really? But here's the genius. Thales was the first to suggest that the world could be explained by something natural rather than divine. He wasn't saying Zeus watered the crops. He was saying water itself, rain, rivers, seas, was the source of life. That nature had its own order. It was a leap from myth to reason, from magic to philosophy, and once the door was opened, it could never be closed again. 3. Thales, the scientist. And the comedian Thales wasn't just a philosopher. He was also a scientist, engineer, and yes, even a little bit of a comedian. Legend has it he predicted a solar eclipse in 585 BCE, stunning everyone when day turned to night exactly as he had foretold. He also studied geometry, measuring the height of pyramids by comparing the length of their shadows. Practical, brilliant, and elegant. But perhaps the funniest story about Thales is this. One night, he was walking under the stars, gazing upward, lost in thought about the heavens. And as he marveled at the cosmos, he fell straight into a well. A servant girl saw him tumble in and laughed. How do you expect to know what's in the sky when you can't even see what's in front of you? It's the perfect image of the philosopher. Head in the clouds, feet in the mud. But maybe that's what makes philosophers so human. They reach for the stars, even if they stumble on the ground. 4. Thales. The humanitarian Thales wasn't only about theories. He cared deeply about people. He taught that water wasn't just a principle of nature. It was also a reminder of our shared humanity. All life depends on water. All beings are connected by it. This simple idea reflects a profound truth. Philosophy isn't just about abstract thought. It's about how we live, how we see one another, and how we build a world together. Aristotle later admired Thales for something else, his wisdom in daily life. When people mocked him for being poor, saying philosophy was useless, Thales proved them wrong. Using his knowledge of astronomy, he predicted a great olive harvest, rented all the olive presses in advance, and made a fortune. The lesson? Philosophy isn't impractical. It just aims at higher things, but when needed, it can handle business just fine. 5. The birth of philosophy. Why do we call Thales the first philosopher? Because he broke the spell of myth. He dared to say, the world has order. It can be understood. It can be explained. That small shift changed everything. Without Thales, there would be no Socrates, no Plato, no Aristotle, no science, no democracy, no philosophy as we know it. He was the spark that lit the fire of Western thought. 6. Why Thales still matters. Today now, you might be asking, Why should we care about a man who lived 2,600 years ago and thought everything was water? Because Thales reminds us of something essential: wonder. We live in a world of instant answers. Google, AI, endless information at our fingertips. But information isn't wisdom. Thales didn't have answers. What he had were questions. Courageous, childlike questions. What is the world made of? Why do things change? How can we understand the stars above us and the ground beneath us? These are questions that still echo today, and philosophy begins when we dare to ask them. 7. The legacy of wonder. So picture Thales, not as a dusty name in a textbook, but as a man standing by the sea, watching the tides, gazing at the stars, smiling even as he falls into a well. A man who believed the universe was not chaos, but cosmos, not ruled by fear, but by reason. And in that vision, humanity took its first step toward wisdom. Because philosophy isn't about having all the answers, it's about keeping the flame of wonder alive. So the next time you look at the sky, or walk along a river, or wonder why the world is the way it is, remember Thales. Remember the man who turned wonder into philosophy, who showed us that truth is not found in myth alone, but in asking, in seeking, in daring to look deeper. If this story moved you and you want to explore more journeys into truth, wonder, and philosophy, subscribe to Thinker's Odyssey. Because philosophy didn't end with Thales, it began with him. And the journey continues with us.